Welcome back to the Health Bridge podcast. Today's conversation is especially for those of you who feel like you're in a season of change, not just in your life, but in your body, your identity, or even just who you even are anymore. Because one of the things that I see so often with autoimmune conditions is that it's not just physical, it's a full life transition. It's the way you used to function, the way you used to show up, and what you could rely on. It's all starting to shift. And if you don't understand what's happening, it can feel really confusing and frustrating and honestly just really disorienting. So I'm really excited for this conversation. Today I'm joined by Adele Bernard. She's an intuitive guide and founder of Transition Clarity, where she helps people navigate major life transitions by reconnecting to their inner knowing and finding clarity through the heart. And in this episode, we explore what it really means to move through transition when everything feels uncertain and how to navigate that space between who you were and who you're becoming. We're going to talk about the gap between reacting and responding, how to tell the difference between the overactive mind and the intuition, and what happens when your body feels too overwhelmed to access clarity at all. And we also bridge something really important: how, especially with autoimmune, learning to interpret symptom signals instead of fighting them can completely change your healing process. So, if you've been feeling stuck and disconnected from your body or just really unsure of your next step, this conversation is going to give you a completely different way to look at what you're going through. So be sure to listen to the end because we're answering the question: how do you reconnect to yourself when your body feels like it's working against you? Let's dive in. Adele, welcome to the program. I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
So, Adele, you work in the transition, whatever that transition might be, or life change. And I work with women with autoimmune conditions, and that can be seen as quite a transition, whether it comes on slowly, whether it comes on quick and, smacks us in the face and forces the transition. And I know that you've had some of your own experiences within that world as well. So I'd love to kind of hear your interpretation of what transition means, what it is, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. So, when I first started using the word transition, a lot of people thought it was about dying. And I'm like, well, that's one transition. And if you look at it in a different way, it's any time you come up in your life at a crossroads that you're being gently nudged to make a decision, right? And with the body and autoimmune, and this is only my interpretation, there's lots of interpretations, but my journey through that was one, I never put myself on the list. Two, everyone's needs came before mine. And three, by the time I found a doctor who could help me, he basically looked at me saying he didn't understand how I was in his office because I should be dead. And I said, great. With that great news, how are we going to get better? So basically, when I found him in my mid 20s, everything had shut down except for my heart. And he was a medical doctor who had a let's prevent medical incidences happening, right? So he could do both worlds. And when he was working with patients like that had like cancer or heart disease or things like that to take the heavy metals out, he'd say 2 to 3 times a month of chelation. I was 2 to 3 times a week for months chelation, right? But what was really great about it was one, I started putting myself on the list. Two, my voice mattered. So I started understanding all the beliefs and conditionings and everything that I'd shoved down in my body to say it's okay. People think this about me or that about me. And I'm like, it's okay. And yet I was dying. So it was like my metamorphosis time. And I think in general, we're all at that point right now of who are we emerging to be from the conditionings, the belief systems, and then truths that we've been told. And so when you look at women in particular with autoimmune disease, because it's 80% women, right? Where are they not speaking their truth? Where are they taking on conditions from other people that aren't theirs? And where are they not putting themselves first? And I can hear all the audience saying, but I'm a mom and I'm a this. And I'm like, yeah, but you're also a human being. And when your well is dry, you have nothing to give to people. And so I had a coach many years ago who said she had 5 kids. So it wasn't like she didn't know that she had to put herself on the list, right? And she said she realized if she said yes to something, it was from the saucer of the cup, never again from the cup. And I heard that and I'm like, if we are always giving from the overflow of our abundance, our needs are met, our emotions are in check, we're in balance, we are centered, we are present in our body, we can give all day. As soon as it comes into the cup, pull back. Where am I? Where am I giving out too much energy? Where am I not looking after myself? And this goes long past self care. Self care is the basic minimum that women need to do. And I also hear like, when my friends' kids were younger, they'd be like, "Oh no, I just had myself in the bathroom." I said, "Why?" They can't get in. They can sit on the door. I don't care. I'm taking my time. I'm not sharing the shower anymore. I'm not. No, it's my time. And that's crazy that we have to hide out in bathrooms. Because I used to do it at my corporate job too, just to get that breather. And even before we got on the call, you're like, "Oh, it's a busy week. I didn't get my massage chair time in." It's what? We have to get our massage chair time in because then we're not nurturing ourselves and being present and honoring our body. And there's one more thing is when you think of nurturing your body and the illness that your body is so gently trying to share with you so you don't get the autoimmune, it's been speaking since you were 5, right? And it's closing down and just sitting quiet and listening because the messages have been there. It's not until it's a full blown problem that we go, "Oh, our body's been talking to us." And then your little girl or little boy's going, "Finally, they're slowing down to listen." So I'll let you talk now.
Well, I wanted to dive into that actually because I agree. The body has been sending us signals. We just have been conditioned to put those things to the side, not pay attention, push through, like
Hmm.
ignore it, it'll go away. And especially when it comes to things like autoimmune or, major health conditions, people will say, "Oh, well, she was so healthy and then all of a sudden she got XYZ. All of a sudden she has this chronic illness or all of a sudden she had a heart attack." And it's like, no, there was things going on under the surface the whole time.
Yeah.
We're just so good at masking it or ignoring it that
Hmm.
we didn't notice until the body finally had to be like, okay, it's time for me to punch you in the face because I need you to pay attention. And
Well,
so,
and
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say where how do we learn to tune back into the intuition and to quiet down to listen in a world that is so noisy?
Before I had met this doctor who helped me, I had been asking since I was 5 to go home. I said, "Why'd you send me here? You asked to come." "I wouldn't have asked to come. This world's crazy and I want off." Right? Like, and then it's like, "But you've come with a plan." I'm like, "Okay." And then later on in life, I'm like, "I want out." And it's like, "Nope." I'm like, "Okay." And then I remember later in life when I was having an operation and I was like watching my body and I was so excited. I was going home and then I woke up in the hospital. I'm like, seriously? Like, why won't you bring me home? Because I have a plan for you. I'm like, fine. So this kept on happening. And I'm like, I must be a cat because I have at least 9 lives. And you talk about like how you take the time. For me, it was just as simple of going for a walk in a park. Like I walk every day, but somehow a park, hugging a tree, sitting by a tree felt different. It felt more grounding, connected with nature. You didn't have to go to hours away to whatever. It's just get into a park or go and sit in your, depending where you live, sit in your own backyard, right? Be on the grass, just get grounded. And also just going for a drive. Or if you need the technology, start planning, visualizing where would be an off the charts vacation. No expenses, right? And play through pictures. And imagine, oh, you imagine sitting on that beach, right? And it's interesting because the more I talk to people from Australia, the more I'm like jealous because, well, we go to Mexico for the beach. They go to Bali, right? And I'm like, I feel gypped, right? But then I'm like, but we don't have all those scary snakes and spiders that you guys do. So I'm not so gypped anymore, right? So, but we can imagine, we can, and the healing happens, right? Think about, okay, you might not have that beautiful sauna or whatever that is healing. But you can visualize it and you can visualize your body just getting the nutrients and everything it needs, right? Because whether you believe in God or a higher source, it doesn't matter to me, but we can't be here without it. And when you start thinking about autoimmune systems and different things, does God have autoimmune? No. Does God get sick? No. Is God lacking in any way? No. So why do we think we have to? And people can say, oh, like you're talking wackadoodle. Maybe that's how I live my life. If I am centered in the presence of God, in the presence of right now, the past doesn't matter anymore and the future is looking after itself. Am I whole and complete in all ways? Yes. And I've been through that health journey. Still working on it today. Some days I can eat an apple, some days I can't. Why? I don't know. I muscle test everything I eat before I eat it. Because some days the salad will work, other days it won't. And whatever is happening through my day that is saying, nope, that salad will be too acidic or whatever, I listen. Because
And
if I don't sleep.
how long did it take you to learn to listen to that? Did that come naturally to
Uh,
you? Because
I
I
think
feel
I've always listened. I just didn't understand to the extent. Like, I grew up in a family that my parents had restaurants and wholesale food companies, so food was never a problem, but they also loved chicken and eggs. I'm highly allergic to both, but that's what's on the table, so you eat it, right? And then I go to bed and I'm like, I'm not feeling well. Why? Well, I didn't know to know. Or when people say, "Oh my gosh, the tomatoes are so great off the vine." Thanks, no thanks. Because it's a histamine food, right? If you have that gene in your body that reacts to histamines, you can't have histamine inducing foods. So, and I also, if I ate the wrong food too, like I could rub my arm and I'd literally swell up in rashes and they'd be like, we don't know what's wrong with you. So I've had to become my own doctor in a sense because I'd go to naturopaths and I'd say, this is what I figured out. Can you help anymore? And they go, no. And then I'd be like, I just paid you to get no. But then I knew I was on the right track, right? And so the biggest thing that anyone that's having this journey is, yes, go to the doctors and ask, body, is this our truth? It will tell you. And if you can do the kinesiology of muscle testing or whatever, then add that to it.
Really quick, Holly B here. I just wanted to interrupt the podcast to ask you for a quick favor. Can you take just a moment to like and subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you are listening in on? It makes a world of a difference. And the reach of this podcast, it takes like literally under 10 seconds. So go do that right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And now back to the episode.
But know your body's always speaking. And it's even like your own intuition because when I say about getting that time alone, like some days I'd be like just crazy in my head and I'm like, what do I need to do? And I'd wake up in the morning, go drive, and I go drive for the day. I just like whatever I had, I'd cancel it and I'd tootle around because my head was so busy thinking that the open road cleared it, right? I could just, and I live in a beautiful area of Canada, like by the Rockies. So, an hour away, I'm in the mountains and I'm just like, yeah, this is what I needed. And it's honoring what you need. And there's been times too, like, when I was younger and I had all these different friends and they'd say, oh, let's go here, let's go here. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, well, I'm going out with these guys. Okay, well, I'm going out. And all of them thought I was going out with each other. And I went, yay, I'm at home alone. Thank God. Like, because my body was saying enough. And the pandemic, you think about the pandemic, everyone says, well, you're an extrovert. And I said, no, not really. What are you talking about? I said, it takes me a lot of time to become that extrovert. And the pandemic gave me the gift of, I don't have to complain. I have to pretend who I'm not. I can just stay at home and be fine. So now it's like, okay, now you got to kind of go out sometimes. Do I really?
We're getting
Right?
pushed to reintroduce again. Yeah.
Well, I go walking every day. I see my neighbors all the time, which most people don't know their neighbors. They can live in an area for 15 years and not know their neighbors. I don't understand that. But yeah, like it's just yeah, it was my reprieve that
Mhm.
my body was asking for, but life was too busy. And so even though had a lot of tools, I still had the biggest tool I didn't know how to learn. As an introvert, home is safe. Home is good. Home, you can help regulate your system. So you're not having problems with food and adrenal fatigue and all of it because you have no pressures. You just say, I'm good.
When you're talking about finding your safe space
Mhm.
and home being safe space, maybe not everybody has that safe space at home. Maybe their
Oh,
safe space,
absolutely.
maybe their safe space is somewhere else, but we can all find that space and kind of dive into it. But I think
Mhm.
we, again, are so conditioned to that busy go go monkey mind that we don't even notice a lot of the times that we are in a fight or flight. Our nervous system is activated in fight or flight, and we don't even recognize that as a problem because it's the normal. It's what we're experiencing every day. How do you work with people to help them recognize that they aren't experiencing a calm state and help them find that safe space for themselves?
First off, if you're in a home that isn't safe, the first thing you can do is regulate your breathing. Most people breathe from the collarbone up. They don't even engage their lungs. So if you're coming home and you know that you're kind of like agitated from work or school or whatever you're doing, this is for kids too. And you're like, "Oh, I'm going home." Slow down your walk home and start taking some deep breaths. Get into that rhythmic breathing. And we could even do it now. Like you get into that deep belly breath, and all of a sudden, like your whole spine starts waking up and everything starts waking up. Your lungs are awake because your lungs are here for your vital life force, right? And if we don't engage our lungs to say we're alive in a body, illness will come in. It has nothing but to do, right? So, keeping regulating on your breath, and it doesn't matter how chaotic the house is, go find the bathroom. Like, find somewhere, right? And get that breath going. And then all of a sudden, everything just will start dissipating. The fights might be happening, but you're not involved. And if they want to pull you into it and it has nothing to do with you, just breathe deeper. Is it always easy? No, no, because it's natural to get in the argument and fight back, but you don't need to. Also, before you get out of bed and you're breathing and you're making sure all your particles have come back, right? Because whether you believe it or not, like your soul does leave and does the extra work while your earthly body is healing and doing its work. And so just take that extra time and just say, all the particles home, and they'll all come back. And before you put your feet on the ground, put both of them on the ground on the side of the bed together. So you know I am grounding from my sleep to start the day. Take a few seconds, a minute, before you rush off. You can also do some tapping, like if there's the field thought therapy or the EFT, two schools of thought, doesn't matter. As a Chinese herbalist said to me, just tap. It'll hit some point for something. You'll be happier. It's true. It's true. Just start tapping. And if you're hearing this now in April of 2026, it's so important to keep movement. I'm not saying a huge walk. I'm saying you've been at your desk for an hour. Tap your foot. Tap a finger. It's saying, I'm here, I'm awake, and I'm going to keep movement going. And it'll automatically, subconsciously start doing that on its own because you've been stuck in the same position. Just move. Bring your shoulders up. Let them move. And it's just that slight movement that will keep you centered in presence.
I intentionally take fresh air breaks throughout the day. I intentionally get up from my chair and do calf raises or do some squats or just do some stretching, stretch out my side body, roll my head to stretch
Yeah.
my neck. Just little movements like that can wake me up if I'm starting to get a little sluggish. Just brings circulation back into the body. I might not be moving up here, but my calves are moving, my feet are moving. It brings you back into the body and into awareness of what's happening in the body. And
Mhm.
just all these things that we're talking about sound really simple, but
Mhm.
it's those really simple things that I believe make the biggest impact. And when it comes to reacting to whatever stimulation is happening outside of our bodies, such as walking into a household full of
Mhm.
kids, it's time for dinner, dog has to get out for
Mhm.
a walk, oh, got to take the trash out, got to throw laundry in, got to make dinner or whatever, or walking into a workplace that's chaotic.
Mhm.
If we're confronted with something, we can still walk in that door and just take a moment to breathe and observe before we react or respond. And
Well,
just
and I'm glad you brought that up because I remember talking to one of my bosses one time saying, "I don't understand how people can walk by you and not say good morning." And he says, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "I'm the first one in the office. Everybody except for two walk by me and say good morning." And then he says, "Well, what do they say?" And I go, "They're not morning people." He goes, "That could be true." And I go, "Well, then get up earlier." Like, figure out what time you need to get up before you can say good morning. Because I know I do. To be in the office at 6:30, quarter to 7, I gotta get up at 5:30, quarter to 6, or 4:30, quarter to 5. And he goes, "Why?" And I go, "Because I need 2 hours to be able to say good morning." So if you need more time, figure it out. And that's also part of autoimmune.
right.
Maybe figuring out what to make for dinner every day stresses your system out. So if you're making supper, how about batch it? If you're making a soup, make it big so you get a few meals out of it, right? Then your body's going, "That's done for the week. I can relax and enjoy the rest of my Sunday or whatever day you cook, and you don't have to worry about meals until next Sunday." Right? Because it's like, even I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what am I having for dinner?" I'm thinking about that at breakfast time because whatever I'm having, it's got to be prepared on the counter, or it's got to start thawing, or it's got to something, right? And depending on how much time I have before to eat or how late I'm going to eat, maybe I won't have that heavy meal because maybe soup's better, right? And you take the stress out of your system trying to figure out how it's going to digest all day or all night. There's a reason why we eat our biggest meal in the morning because we have all day to work it off. Like having your biggest meat, potatoes, whatever at night, it sits like a lead balloon. And then you also think about all the reels that are happening of Tai Chi walking, Qigong. They don't live to 100 without pain for no reason. Those ancient, gentle movements is keeping the lymphatic system moving. It's keeping the fascia lubricated. Most people get injured because their fascia is so tight, not their muscles. And it's all part and parcel of plan your meals out. Take the stress out of your body trying to absorb.
We're usually pretty good at creating our meals so that I easily have lunch to bring to work with me the next day. I don't have to
Mm.
stress. I just box it up at night when we're putting dinner away, done and done.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, the last couple of weeks, our meals just haven't turned out to where we've got a lot of leftovers or we're like scrambling at dinner time, like, oh, what's in the fridge? We got to throw something together. And I tell you, that really does have an effect on my days when I don't have an easy like meal planning for the week. And it does create stress. And then it creates more stress in the body. So I don't digest as well whatever I am eating. And it's this little cycle that happens.
Yeah.
All those little things, those tiny little stressors add up. And when you can learn how to streamline, like for example, probably 6 months ago, I started really trying to embrace using a daily, weekly, monthly planner and plotting my days out, writing down all the things in my head that are on my to-do list, putting them out on paper so I can visualize them
Mhm.
instead of having them swirl, swirl, swirl. And I'm not perfect at the planning yet, but when I'm doing it well, it really does take that stress level down. And I can visualize my whole month by just looking at one piece of paper. I use my Google Calendar on my phone like religiously, but it's different when it's
It's not the
translated
same.
onto paper. It's not the same. And it's those, again, it's those simple things that can help us streamline and reduce stress in areas that we might not have even realized we were holding it. And those little things helps the body calm down. We can get into that rest and digest state, get out of the fight and flight state because we
Mhm.
can't our biology can't start to repair itself when we're in fight or flight.
Even as simple as, do you drink hot water right now or do you drink cold water? And just like I've always been a cold water drinker, doesn't matter if it's minus 30 or plus 30, I like my cold water. Like I do. And even I've been introducing more just hot water. And I'm like, I'm noticing my body's enjoying it, especially as I drink hot water before bed because it warms me up to crawl into bed.
Mhm.
And it's just little tweaks that you actually slow down enough to ask. Like when you're looking in the fridge going, what do we feel like? And it might just say, nothing really big. How hungry are we? So you have some carrot sticks and keep it light. It doesn't help for the lunch the next day because if you've had a really stressful day and you try to eat a big meal, not a good fit. Your body's already at a high stress because of the day, and then you're going to tax it more by saying, eat this big heavy meal and we're going to go to bed. And it says, I don't think so.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the idea that having these transitions, we originally started talking about the transition of, moving into an autoimmune condition or some sort of like illness that is forcing us to change our ways. And when we get that diagnosis or we're confronted with these health issues, we feel like I think the first thought is this is a problem that we need to fix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to fix this is wrong. I have to get back to the way things were.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, the way I see it is your symptoms are an invitation for you to look deeper, for you
Mm-hmm.
to question things, for you to create positive shifts and to see that maybe perhaps the way things were going weren't actually working well for you. And
Mm-hmm.
perhaps we need to shift out of those things in order to grow and heal. And and I think we just innately struggle with that concept because we want things to just keep flowing. We want things to be easy. We don't want to have to change. And this is forcing change. How do you work with
Well,
somebody when it comes to like shifting a mindset around that?
I think Louise Hayes put us on that bandwagon years ago, and I've gone even deeper with it because I know people in my family who, whether it's stroke, cancer, um, whatever, and I'd be like, ready to deal with the emotions? What are you talking about? It's all emotions. You can look it up in Louise Hay's book. You got breast cancer, you got emotions with your mother. You got colon cancer, you got emotions with letting go. You got, right? Like it's just think of the emotions. And then I also know families that basically have had cancer in their someone has had cancer in their lineage. Like they're just a cancer family. And you're going, why? Because they hang on to everything. I'm like, let it go. And so it all depends on how you want to make the decisions in those crossroads of change, right? Because when I was younger, people are like, oh, we want to have you over for dinner, but it's so hard. I said, I can bring my own dinner. I want the invite. You can't bring your own dinner if we're having an invite. Yeah, I want to see the people. I would rather you not stress about how to give me food when I'm more than happy to supply my own food and eat with everybody. So it's taking responsibility of self first and foremost. So it's just interesting with I brought this up with certain people of like, you're saying mothers are this, you're saying mothers are that. And I go, mothers are petrified and they know from the day they say they're pregnant, they're doing all the wrong things. So you want to keep telling them that they're doing something wrong? No, they know that. They know they're going to have mom guilt until the kid's 18 and beyond. How do we support the decisions that people are making? Right? It's like, it's a beautiful hot day. Let's go for an ice cream. Great. I'll have a sherbet. Why? Well, ice cream doesn't work with me. Right? Like, or I'll choose nothing. And that's okay because it's my choice. But don't guilt me into trying to have something that I know won't settle. And that's where we do the biggest change is whether it's autoimmune, whether it's like someone carrying too much weight, it doesn't matter what the outside world is. Say, how can I help? And then let them share. Because maybe they just need to share it with somebody, right? Whether it's cancer, whether it's autoimmune, whether it's loss of a loved one, right? Because that's when crazy eating happens. When a tragedy happens and they're spinning out of control. They don't even know what meal prep is. They're grabbing whatever is in front of them, good, bad, or indifferent.
Mhm.
And it will spin them out further down the road when they go, what was I eating? Now I have all these flare ups, right? Yeah.
Well, and you
So,
you pointed out something that I think is important too, which is you had an experience with your friends who said, we'd love to invite you, but it's really hard for us to figure out how to support you. We don't know how to feed you.
mhm,
So that shows two things. One is that other people that aren't having our experience, they don't know how to interact with the new you. There's some shifts that have gone on there and they're not sure how to respond correctly. And you are learning how to respond in the new situation as well. So I think it's so important because it comes back to advocating for ourselves and
mhm.
stepping up for ourselves and being like, I can't eat those things, but I know what I can eat. I'm happy to bring it.
But it's also like I'm at a family dinner and I just let the chicken pass me and kept up eating all the vegetables. My own dad said, Why aren't you eating any chicken? What's wrong with you? It's really good chicken. And he kept on going. And I'm like, cat, right? And then my cousin feels this big. Oh my God, I didn't know. I go, all good. I'm not going to starve eating vegetables. Yeah. And so it was just like, instead of just like, let it slide, it's not a big deal. It became this huge thing. And I'm like, all good.
Right.
And it's not like I didn't have enough cheese before the meal or like nuts. Like there was enough for me to eat. Trust me. And you think about all the traditions that don't eat meat anyways. They have enough vegetables. They're good.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in here and interrupt the program for just a hot minute. You know that I'm so passionate about this podcast, but what I'm also really passionate about is helping women with lupus minimize their symptoms, boost their energy so that they can indulge in life again. So if you are a woman who is struggling with lupus, who is sick and tired of being sick and tired, who's struggling to manage your flares, if you're finding that your lupus symptoms are just really getting in the way of you being able to live your life the way you want to, I feel you. I've been there myself and I felt the same way. And what I've found is that there are a certain set of health fundamentals that once applied, will support you in your foundational health. They will support you in building and maintaining that energy, minimizing flares, and allowing you to, again, indulge in life and follow your passions. So, if that is something that you are interested in creating for yourself, let's jump on a call together. I will walk you through the process that I use with my clients to get them from sick and tired to strong foundation of health by implementing my Health Bridge protocol. If this is something you're interested in chatting more about, I would love to talk to you. Apply for a free clarity call with me, and I look forward to getting to know you soon. And now back to the episode. Like I will survive, I promise. But
Yeah.
but
And
it is
so,
it is learning to step up for yourself and being like, it's okay. It's like, I understand that you're uncomfortable here.
yeah,
Don't be.
yeah.
I know how to take care of myself, but we have to voice that. And I think a lot of people are worried about offending other people by like, I'm sorry, I can't eat your chicken. Or
Yeah.
maybe the interactions have always been going out for happy hour with your friends every Friday after work. And all of a sudden,
Mhm.
you can't drink alcohol anymore. You
I still
can't
went for
eat
happy
fried
hour.
foods. But whatever it is, maybe
Yeah.
your dietary restrictions at this point have impeded that, but that doesn't mean you don't want to be social. There's a lot of different dynamics that need to be considered there. And I think if we can advocate for ourselves in those positions, if our friends and family truly care about us, they'll step up and they'll be understanding and they won't make you feel bad about you being the one that's changed in this scenario. That's not always going to be the case. There will be some situations where people won't understand and they'll take it out against you.
I think it's also helping them understand to honor where they are in our journey. Like, this is my journey. It's not your journey, right? I'm not offended that you're eating chicken. I don't like, I'm happy that you can eat chicken, but don't feel bad for me because I can't. Because then that's no good for anyone. Like, that's just weird emotions that don't need to go. It's like, and yeah, like, I mean, it's like the whole like going for happy hour. Like the other day, I was going, oh, I really want to go see this person in the bar. Who are my drinking friends? Because I got to take it, someone's drinking because I don't drink. Right? And so I got to find some people that will buy some drinks. And then I just, I'll have water. Thanks. Right. But I also learned that I'm having water, but I still tip the waitress.
Yes.
Why should she miss out on a tip because I'm not buying a purchase?
As a former waitress, I appreciate that very much.
Me too. Oh, and I was on a different podcast the other day about you can spot an ex hospitality worker a mile away, even if they haven't done it for 30 years,
Yep.
because you treat people differently, right? And it's like Sandra Bullock and Kelly Clarkson said, "Oh no, we have no problem figuring out corporate and movie things because we slung beer through the big men. Move out or you're buying the tray." Right? Like as little people. They're both not big ladies, right? But they handled the people. They could handle the crowd. And it's how you learn these things as a coming up adult out of childhood, right? Like even my own story. Like I tried to explain, maybe this food's not so good for me, right? And they go, but that's what we're eating. I'm like,
Yeah.
right? So I ate it because I didn't have a big enough say yet. But the minute I did, out, it's out of my diet,
Yeah.
right? And then it's even like, well, you got to get a booster shot and you got to get this or what. And it's like, actually, no, I don't. Why? Because you run it through eggs. I'm highly allergic to eggs. So am I taking any shot of any kind anymore? No, because I've already gone through how many years and years cleaning it out of my body because it's egg based. And out of all the foods that people have problems with, I would say eggs are the highest culprit.
I am also allergic to chicken eggs, but I agree with you. Eggs, gluten, wheat.
Well,
Um,
the gluten, well, maybe it's just in my mind that I don't let the gluten bug me, but mine's more of the histamine
mhm.
activated things. And then I was working with some ladies here for the histamines, and I was just like, well, that explains a lot of my life because I was in a family who grew huge tomato plants. Tomatoes were in everything. My favorite salad was tomato, avocado, and cucumber. Are you joking? I could eat the cucumber, right? And so I can get away a little bit with avocado, but it's like, then it comes down to your blood type. This can handle all of that histamine and avocado. Have at it. You're supposed to be the vegetarians. I'm the game eater, the deer, the buffalo, the right? And it's like, because it has less histamines. They're grown natural. They're more range animals, not,
Yeah.
you know, fed in the troughs, right?
So
So it's all of that into the autoimmune, right? And how where you live, how dense is the population? Because people in New York are going to have a totally different constitution than people where like you and I live, where it's more open space, where it's more natural, where we get
definitely.
more natural sunlight. I mean, that's huge. And it's funny because my nephew always says, "Oh, Auntie, I wish you'd come to New York." And I go, "Not in your life." And he's like, "Why?" And I go, "Vermont? I'll go tomorrow. Upstate New York? The city? Nothing. Been to London, don't need to go back." Because I was so sick from
Mm.
the pollution, the noise, the, uh, no. And it's all part of the constitution of your diet.
But tuning into those things is really what we're talking about here. It's like
Mhm.
we learn through trial and error and
Mhm.
being open to that inquiry, being open to the curiosity of like, is this working for me? Is this not working for me? How do I
And
transition here?
they've even done studies that restaurants are doing themselves a disfavor by having 15 items on the menu. It's mental overload. Yeah, it's interesting. But it's also just being aware of if your system is too overloaded and you go to the restaurant that has too many choices, you can't do it. Go to the restaurant that's your tried and true that you have, I'll have that meal. Don't try a new one if you're coming in already loaded from work. It'll say, can't do it. And you'll have reactions, even
Mm,
though normally you wouldn't.
mhm. Well, and that's the
Right?
power
Because if
that,
your yeah.
yeah, that's the power that overwhelm has on us. It can affect us
Mhm.
on so many different physiological levels. So, the digestion being one, our mental capacity, it could affect our anger response or our emotional responses. It can affect our physical stamina,
Mhm.
and all body systems can be affected by that.
Well, and it's even like, for instance, um, like you might be aware that someone's coming in the door. Your body starts tensing up, like, well, they got to understand. Instead of just breathing through it, they'll understand that I'm busy in this room, but it won't affect me. They'll close the door. Like, it won't affect you. But if you're sitting there and they're, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this. Like, what the? Guess what? You just raised your vibration to scattered, and everyone's going to feel it, right? If I'm like, having my time, like if we're all together, like say on a family Christmas trip or whatever, and everyone's like going around, and I'm just like, whoa, I'll just pull myself out into a corner and just watch it. I don't need to be in the middle of it. I'll just watch their craziness until they bring it back down. Okay, I can join back in. And that's, you can't, like, unless you choose to raise your vibration into that crazy manic stuff, pull up, watch it. Because it's all about coming home to your heart. What does your heart want to do? If it wants to go crazy and manic, go for it. But if it says, let's just watch the manic until they slow down a bit, great. And it's a skill learned over time. And be gentle with yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Know that everything is for a reason. And how are you playing your part in that reason? Because we are the creators of our universe. So if we don't like our universe, how are we creating it? Has nothing to do with anyone else. Right? Like I always say, every accident is an incident waiting to happen because you're not aware of where you are. Right? So, in the past, I've had a few car accidents and I'd be like, see, I knew I didn't want to go to work today, but I didn't want to miss it because I got rear-ended. Right? I would have rather been skiing, but I still didn't have the day at work because I had to go fix my body. And yeah, like it's just little things, right? Like, or I'm like in a crossroads of my own life. Like, do I stay in corporate? Do I leave corporate? I don't know. Boom. All of a sudden, how did you end up in front of me? Like, you weren't there. What the heck? But it was also the tap that went, you're done with your job. Move on. Do I have another one? No, but I know another one's coming. So next.
Learning to trust and learning to flow. Mhm.
Yeah. Because
So,
nothing's an accident.
yeah, you've been one that's an actual accident.
No, yeah. Well, and like growing up, I was so not wanting to be in this body that I half the time wasn't in the body. And so if there's a top stair, I missed the whole rung and ended up at the bottom. Inside, outside, didn't matter. And I'd be like, I really gotta stop doing this. And then my guides would say, get in your body. Oh, be grounded, be in your body, breathe. Fastest way to stay in your body.
As we come to close here, as if somebody is in the middle of a transition in a health crisis and they just feel lost, what would you say to them?
First of all, stay in your body, breathe. This isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. You are part of the solution. And more importantly, it is a wake up call that there's no longer any time to let it go because the door is here. Like it's your body's been warning you, saying, what about this? Maybe don't eat that. Like, all along the way. And you've chosen to ignore it. And now it's like, this is your point. The fork is here. Which way are you going? And just be gentle with yourself. We weren't born in a minute, so it's not going to be a minute to get out of it.
Grace comes to mind. Be gentle and have grace with yourself.
And one of the other things is, okay, you're trying to stay off sugar, whatever. And if you want that chocolate cake for breakfast, eat it without guilt, without shame, without blame. I ate it, whatever. But it's your breakfast. Don't go and have breakfast on top of it. You've had your breakfast. You chose not so good calories, but you've had it. Carry on your day without the guilt.
Yeah, without the guilt.
Yeah.
And Adele,
And then when you're out of that, maybe go, what was I feeling at that moment that made me have the chocolate cake?
Yeah, that's so true. That's so
Right?
true. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, Adele, where can people find you?
Well, they can use my book link or LinkedIn. I think in the show notes we'll have a document that you can use. We'll have all my handles there. Yeah, or just transitionclarity@gmail.com is the fastest, easiest way.
Yeah, and you have a fantastic podcast as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
My authentic conversations with Adele. I always say that's where the transformation begins,
Is in conversation.
in the authentic conversation,
Yeah.
right? It's bringing it real. It's bringing it home. And as we said about being the waitresses or the hospitality, if we want better results, we got to be authentic.
Mhm.
Speak from truth.
Mhm. And
Because the days of just spouting it aren't working.
yeah, and as we learn to become more and more authentic and speak from that space, how much can we heal? Not just within ourselves, but within our relationships and our communities and beyond.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because we only have ourselves to heal. We can't heal anyone else. The ripple effect of us healing, sending a different vibration, they might say, huh, that's working for you. Maybe I'll try it. And that's as far as we can go with it.
Exactly.
And we can't point fingers because if we point fingers, 4 are pointing back at us. So just honor where people are at. If you're starting to change, give them the space to catch up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Adele. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
It was such a powerful conversation. And if there's one thing that I want you to take away from it, it's this. What feels like chaos in your body, what feels like confusion or even disconnection, it isn't random. It's communication. And for so many of you that are navigating autoimmune symptoms, that communication has just become really hard to interpret. So, of course, you feel unsure. Of course, you feel stuck between what you think you should do and what your body is actually allowing you to do. And that's not failure, that's just a system that's overwhelmed. What I love about this conversation is that it really brings together both sides of that. Adele's perspective on intuition and alignment, and the work that we do here around the nervous system and the body. Because the truth is, you can't easily access clarity and intuition or alignment when your body is in survival mode. But when you start to create safety and when your system starts to regulate, everything starts to get clearer. Your energy gets clearer, your decisions, your direction gets more clear. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with another woman who's navigating autoimmune challenges or going through a big life transition right now, or take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram so that I can hear what landed for you. And if you're at a point where you're just really tired of guessing and you're tired of trying things that aren't working and you're ready to actually understand what your body is trying to communicate, I invite you to book a free healing breakthrough session with me. We'll start looking at what's really going on beneath your symptoms and map out a path forward for you to start feeling more like yourself again, with more energy, more clarity, and fewer flares. The link to apply for that is in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.